Hi, I hope everyone is doing well today on this beautiful day here in Boston. So let's get started. All right, so the first step was to start getting awareness of what do you see all the time. And if you haven't done that, then the video will be above here or check out below and we'll link it in the notes below so you can watch that video first. Okay, so now what you've done is you've created your version of a Sally, you got your notes together of what it is, and now you're like, okay, that was like really hard, or wow, I didn't realize that I said that to myself. Sometimes we can, even if we're trying not to be judgmental of ourselves, sometimes we're still judgmental of ourselves, and that's okay. We're going to move past that here. So, again, it's data. You know, you aren't 100% your thoughts or what you think or what you feel. It's just information, it's old stories, it's programming. And what we're really here to do is update your programs and get rid of the ones that no longer serve you and create ones that do. And when you kind of can go from that point of view, you can kind of change how you see yourself in all of this. You're more or less like a piece of clay that we're just remaking into a new pretty bowl. But you choose what the bowl is all about. Uh, so now here we go. So you've got your list of different ones, and there's three different lanes that we can take. So you figure out which one feels best for you. You could try all three and go from there. So the first one is when you have that information about the 1 to 3 that you're going to work on, how can you rewrite that to make it more empowering? How can you write it in a way that it can now actually serve you? You know, um, and and play with that. You know, play with what could that be. And sometimes it's just as simple as like we overthink things and we complicate things to like no nobody's business, like to the nth degree, because we have to think make everything. But you know what? It's sometimes in the beginning, it's like it's just easier to keep it simple. Like so, if you take those words and you figure out what the opposite words are, and you go that route, then sometimes that's the easiest way. And it doesn't have to be perfect, and you just go with it. And what's going to happen is by you even choosing to go with that version, the next versions of it will come because now your brain is gonna be like, oh, well, I like that, but I like this word better, or I like that word better. And it will just show up all by itself. So take the pressure off yourself of being perfect or having it right, and let your internal compass kind of start to guide you because it will. It will. And it may take a little bit. So just keep going with what works for now. The second way to do this is then once you've kind of gotten to the source, you can just decide. And it honestly sometimes can be the simple. I'm just done with that thought. And it no longer serves me. And these are the reasons why it no longer serves me. And you can write it down and you can burn it. You can visually give it back to the person that it came from. And you can do this through like closing your eyes, standing in front of that person, and really truly being there and express to them, you know, this is something that I took from you or on from you when I was this age, and I'm now handing this back to you. It no longer serves me, and it no longer helps me be who I want to be today. And it may have protected you in one way or another when you were younger, but it doesn't anymore. Or it never helped you. And you're just like, I'm just done with this, and I give it back to you, and I am visually just done with this, and I'm taking it out of my body. And you may have to do it once, or you may have to do it 3 or 4 times. But the more that you can really visually see this, the more powerful that it is. And and use your body. Like literally put your hand out, like I'm giving this back to you. and opening your hand and like give it back to them. And the more that you simulate it with your, not just visually, but with your body and giving it back to them and how you feel, and then like hugging yourself and saying, you know what, I release you from this. I release myself from this. And I am just done with it. And the more conviction that you have in that visual process and handing it over, because everybody learns differently, the more power that's emoted into it, the more it will transform for you. And you can do that over and over again with everything under the sun. And again, the other person doesn't have to be part of it. You can do this all by yourself without them ever being part of it. So that's another option that you can do to work with these. The next, the third option is going to be that, you know, this one is a good one because it helps you have it leave your body, you know, and again in another way. And one of the things that I've learned is the more that you can actually use your body in these things, the more it can be transformative. And this is really something that Tony Robbins does a lot of with his work, which is you say it out loud in several different voice tones. So you use this really high, like mouse voice, and like and you did, you know, you make this really high pitched mouse voice, and then you do it in a really low, deep voice, and then you like laugh at yourself and say it out loud, and you just kind of make literally kind of feel like a jackass, but it's okay. It's a fun jackass, but you do feel silly, kind of, you know, doing it, and then and you can hear yourself say it in all those different tones, the original version of it, and then you do another version of it, which is your more empowering version of it. And you know, you, as they refer in the Tony Robbins world, you make a move. And then from there, you state what the new one is. And you make a move. And then you do the other one in the other voice. And you keep working on it. And it might take you once. It may, I mean, you're not going to just say it once. Like, you're going to do this like 10, 15 times in this one session. And then you may find that you have to do it again, and you have to do it again. And then eventually you're going to be like, I don't even know what it was anymore. And that's great. That's great. You know, and you keep saying the other one. And the other thing too is when you're in the transformation phase, again, your mind and body is really, really, really smart and does not want you to make progress. So having sticky notes of what your new ones are on your phone, on your computer. I have sticky notes all over the place. Like, I have ones that I can see here. When you believe it, you'll see it. All I need is within me now. Let it be easy the first round. Like, make it happen. Like, have you laughed today? You know, let your spirit lead you. So I have them all over the place. Trust me. I do this too. And so with that being said, you know, do the move, speak with authority, own it, be silly with it, have fun with it. And you know what I found was when I did this myself, that when you hear it in all these different voice tones, you're like, wow,